Come on, come on. Yeah. See, it takes a minute for this YouTube to, there's a delay. Come on. Yeah. See, it takes a minute. I wasn't muted. Hey, everybody. Hey, watcher. How you doing? Hey, Marissa, sweetheart. How are you? So, well, I was going to make it a surprise, but I guess she's already added to the stream. I've got her on mute, though. Angel Bear, hello. Hey, Jack, this one's for you. I'm going to wait for some people to get in here, though. Hey, Swifty. Watcher's the special guest, and I'm going to tell you how this came about, Jack. Hey, Tanya. Wait and see some more people come. I don't want to repeat myself. But this was really awesome. I think I've still got Watcher muted. But I want to tell you how this came about, Jack. First, I want to know how y'all have been doing. Watcher's in the chat too, so she's better off muted. Now, I'm going to unmute her. I'm going to tell Jack how this came about. Hey, Angie. Hey, Lake. I've missed you guys. I'm really glad to be here tonight. I'm glad that you guys are here tonight. Yeah, it's, hey, Taffy, sweetheart. So everybody say hi to everybody. Always be welcoming, which my community always is. But, Jack, I'm going to tell you how this came about. I asked if anybody had any cases, you know, that they would like to be looked into. And you said this one. Hey, Kubi, how are you? Oh, I know, Kubi. I have been too. Thanks for stopping in and saying hi. Hey, Junie Bug. So, Jack, so I decided to look into this, and Watcher had to go to North Carolina for some things. And while she was there, you know, I was messaging her and everything. I'm making sure she was safe. And she happened to tell me that she was going to go look at some things while she was down there that had to do with this. And I was like, are you kidding me? This is awesome. So then we decided we would do this case together for Jack. So isn't that something, Jack, how this came together like that? I think it is. I think it's wonderful. I love Watcher to death, and she's been on here before with me. So now, to be perfectly honest with everybody, because I have been away for a while, it always seems like when I come back, it's the first time all over again. So, yeah, a little nervous. Yeah, Jack, isn't it? I was like, wow, this is just awesome. So, have I missed anybody coming in? I don't think so. Yeah, Jack started a great show. So, and I know I do this, okay? And I'm going to apologize now. I say a lot. My husband told me that. He was watching my lives one night, and he said, "Hun, you've got to stop that." I said, "What?" He said, You say it too much. I'm like, I know I do. Anyway, hey, crime. So, okay, I am going to unmute Watcher so she can say hi. So, everybody, welcome Watcher. Are you there, Watcher?
Hello. Yeah, I'm here.
Hey, Nico.
Hey,
We hear you now, Watcher.
good deal.
There's my Nico. I said Okay, so we are talking about an unsolved case. Faith Hedgepeth. She was 19 years old, a 3-year undergrad student at the University of North Carolina. She was a daughter, a sister. Her father's name was Roland, her mother's name was Connie, her brother's name was Chad, and her sister's name was Rolanda. And yeah, she was brutally murdered in her apartment in 2012. And I'm going to let Watcher take over because she has a heart for the Native Americans. She came from Hollister. And on to you, Watcher, after I say hi to Sharon. And I don't think I've missed anybody else, have I? Okay. Watcher?
She was a Holloway Saponi from that tribe in North Carolina, and I probably butchered that, but that's as close as I can get.
I know.
She was very, very active in that, doing the dancing and the whole thing, and she wanted to be a pediatrician so she could come back to her county and help her people, her tribe, with their care and being a pediatrician, which was so admirable. She's such an inspiration to me, but she never got that opportunity, unfortunately.
Oh, okay. So with that, I'm going to share a video really quick. I linked a ton of things, guys. I know you guys probably did not have time to watch them. My brain is mush from prepping today, watching them, but I'm going to share a short video right now with you guys. So bear with me for a minute. I'm going to have to learn to get faster.
Welcome to the spring commencement at the University at Chapel Hill.
It's graduation 2014 in Chapel Hill.
Hope you guys can hear that.
Was supposed to have been here. She was supposed to have dressed in Carolina blue, waved triumphantly to her family, and basked in a degree from the nation's oldest, and they'd say best public university, and of course, a perennial basketball powerhouse.
This is the place that she had wanted to come all her life.
This was her dream.
All degree candidates, please rise.
That was the dream.
Congratulations.
911, where is your emergency?
But this is the reality.
I just like to take my birthday and my friend just like Cindy unconscious. How old is she? She's 19. Is she breathing? I don't think so. Okay, listen to me. There's blood everywhere. There's what? There's blood everywhere.
Faith's mother, Connie, is called.
She said, well, Miss Hedgepeth, I'm sorry to tell you, but Faith is dead.
The stunned matriarch relays the news to the family, including son Chad.
He said, what is it, Mama?
I didn't know what to think.
Faith's dad, Roland.
I said, are you sure, Connie?
to daughter Rolanda.
I said, what? And I just collapsed.
So sparse are the initial details, the family is left to wonder exactly how Faith died.
Did she get caught up with the wrong people? Was she just at the wrong place at the wrong time?
Did she commit suicide?
Breaking news is first at 6.
But it isn't long before WTVD, the ABC-owned station in Raleigh-Durham, starts reporting details about the case.
Police are treating Hedgepeth's death as a murder and say they don't believe it was a random act.
We want to know everything. We want to know why.
UNC was supposed to be a beginning for Faith, not the end.
She received a scholarship, full tuition all the way through graduate school.
That scholarship was the ticket out of her tiny hometown of Hollister, a place filled with good people, but little else. Faith, a Native American, grew up a member of the Hallowasaponi tribe, a Native people who've called this part of the country home since before there was a country. It's a place Faith promised to return to one day.
It meant enough to her to want to come back and help her community after she achieved in life.
Absolutely. That was home to her, and she wanted to make a difference.
The transition was not always smooth. At times, the grades suffered.
So adjusting to the class load was a bit difficult for her. So she did struggle academically, but she decided not to give up on Carolina and attaining a Carolina degree.
What was never in doubt was Faith's ability to connect with others on campus.
Faith was a very social person. She instantly had connections on campus, and she instantly caught the attention of men on this campus.
She just smiled all the time. I know I'm a smiler, but she had me beat.
She definitely knew how to kind of make you feel safe, make you feel happy.
The band of sisters quickly forms. In her freshman and sophomore years, Una and Patty, roommate Karina, and friend Marisol Rangel become tight with Faith.
She had friends everywhere. She would make friends so quick.
And there were plenty of other friends to make. Faith Hedgepeth hits the books by day and the social scene by night.
She liked to dance. She liked to be in a loud room full of people talking. She enjoyed going out.
She's certainly not alone. UNC students know how to throw a party, and at this school, everyone's invited. But Faith maintains her priorities, at times holding down 2 jobs. While waitressing at the Red Robin, Faith posts on Instagram. A customer has added a heart around her name on this bill. Faith mocks her uncanny ability to charm with a caption on Instagram that reads, "I make my guests fall in love." She will be dead 5 days later. When her roommate Karina comes home and makes that emergency call, which will itself become part of the mystery police now want you to help solve.
There's blood all over the pillows, like in the comforter. I just can't believe this.
How many murders happen here at Chapel Hill?
Generally, we average less than 1 a year.
Chief of Police Chris Blue doesn't just protect a town. He must protect an image. The university is one of the state's largest employers. When co-eds turn up dead for mysterious reasons, students start worrying about safety.
The lack of information has students who did not know Faith on edge.
We just want answers and kind of give us a little piece.
That's bad for business. The pressure to solve this case is immense.
We don't stop. We don't quit.
The police focus on the unsentimental business of investigation, and there is no shortage of evidence.
We're trying to make some sense of the literally thousands of pieces of information that are coming in and prioritize.
But in the absence of an arrest, speculation rules the day, and everyone has a theory.
I do believe Faith's death was a personal vendetta. I don't believe that this was random at all.
Hi, I'm a new customer and I want your best new smartphone deal.
Well, I'm an existing customer and I'd like your best new smartphone.
So that, in a short, is what happened to poor Faith. I just want to take a minute and see who I've missed coming in. Let's see. I see New Zealand Mysteries. Hello. Thank you for coming. Annie, sweetheart. Hey. Hope you're doing better, sweetheart. Have I missed anybody else? I hope not. There's Automobile pulling in. I hope I haven't missed anybody. If I have, holler at me again. So, yeah, the Chapel Hill Police Department, they had the case. And so it was September 26th. No, she was born on September 26th of 1992. And they were at the Thrill, that was called. That's the place, the bar that they were at that night. Hi, Ronnie. Oh, okay. Thanks for coming. Thanks for coming, Ronnie. And they left the bar. Watcher?
Yes.
What time exactly did they leave the bar?
I think it was around 1:23, 1:30 in the morning, something like that. 2:00.
Yes, because that's the conflict between the timestamp,
right,
with the voicemail. And her friend Karina, and the reason they leave is because Karina says her stomach is upset. Correct?
That is correct.
But they go home and Karina leaves at 4:25 a.m. Leaves Karina there. She's in bed. And I want to Watcher grabbed us something. You want me to show that now, Watcher?
Sure.
While she was in North Carolina. I said, Watcher, while you were there, you could have visited somebody. I said, I'm going to go there someday. I'm going to take my grandkids. And she said, you're trying to come to North Carolina and we're all trying to come to Indiana. Anyways, okay, hold on a second. I have a picture. I've got to share though first. I've got to get back over here to StreamYard. Okay, so Watcher got this. Hey, Graz, how are you doing? Still thanking you, Graz, for yesterday. That chat was awesome. So, can you guys see this? This is a picture of Faith's apartment. Right here. Watcher stayed in a motel. You were 10 minutes from there, right, Watcher, you said?
Yeah, about 10 minutes, yeah.
Okay. And then hey, Ivy. And then you said your hotel was across the street from where she worked?
The Red Robin, yes. Right across the street.
Yeah, so this girl, she held down 2 jobs. She went to college. She was a good student. And she still had a social life, which I'm trying to figure out how she was able to do that with both jobs and college. But
as a matter of fact, she had a full ride scholarship from the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. So she was on a full ride scholarship. Although she did take the semester off, which is why she was living with Karina at the time, because she was waiting for her financial aid to come in so she could get her own apartment, because where she had taken the semester off, her financial aid was behind.
That's right. That's exactly right. Yeah. And they said Thursday was a very popular night for partying in the college towns. And I know back in the day when I was a partier, that was true for Lafayette, West Lafayette, Purdue, home of Purdue. Thursdays was their party night. They had two bars that one was dime night for the beer drinkers and one was nickel night for the beer drinkers. But Thursdays was, I don't know if it's still that way. Used to be though. So, okay. And I'm going to go ahead and show this. Ivy says, can confirm. Because Watcher, now what happened to that? Oh no. I hope this is it. Oh, you know what? I'm going to have to, you know what? I'm just going to do this real quick. It's going to be the fastest, easiest way to do it. I'm just going to go back and find it in your...
That's way too many clicks. I'll never learn how to do this.
Well, I'm going to have to do it this way. But I've got to pause it. Got to go back. Okay. And then I've got to go back over here. I'm sorry, guys. Please be patient with me. Nope, that's not it. Okay, here we go, guys. This is a video that Watcher took while she was there. My volume's all the way up. I hope it's not too loud, though. Oh, I gotta...
This is what used to be the Okay, this is what used to be the Thrill nightclub. This is where Faith Hedgepeth and her friends were the night that she got killed beforehand. This is where they were partying at. Of course, it's now, defunct, out of business. But this is where they were, Chapel Hill, North Carolina. Okay, this is what used to be the Thrill nightclub. This is where...
Okay. It's still on there for a minute. I hope you guys could hear that. I had it up all the way. I need to probably turn my volume down, though, because I probably sound like I'm yelling. So I hope you guys were able to see that. Was it? I put it up the full screen. So have I missed anybody else? Hey, Hubs. I love her voice too. I just want to make sure I'm not missing anybody. I think I've got everybody. I don't think anybody new came in. So Karina leaves at 4:25 in the morning with, was it Brandon Watcher? My brain is mush. I know she tried, there were two different people tried to get to come over. Brandon
No, it was the soccer player from UNC that she left with. They supposedly messaged
Brandon
Brandon.
Edwards.
Supposedly Faith did, but I have my doubts about that. But supposedly she did, trying to get him to come over, but he didn't answer. So then Rosario messages the soccer player, and he comes and gets her.
Right. Okay. And then Karina returns at 11.
The next morning. Yes.
Yes, 11 a.m. And then there was the 911 call, which we all heard in the video I showed. Now, everything was sealed, held very, very close to the vest, everything, until July of 2014. Then they start letting things out, like the murder weapon, which was a Bacardi rum bottle, a fifth, so a big one. They found semen on her body. They found a note written on a bag from a restaurant called Time Out. And it had no blood on it. None. Zip. And the note said, "I'm not stupid, bitch. Jealous."
Jealous. Mm-hmm.
So the note was either written beforehand and placed there, because it was left on the bed, or it was written after.
Do you have a picture of that note? Saved?
No, but I can find it really quick.
Because, I mean, I don't know about any guys that you all know, but there's not a guy one that I know would write that note.
Exactly. They and just about everybody that's done this or looked into this, Jensen, Holes, Kelly McClear, and I can't remember her last name, Peggy somebody. Yeah, just almost everybody has said that it's probably been written by a female. And
that was the handwriting experts who you're talking about, that Peggy.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
And,
yeah. They said that it was left-handed or taken, the dominant hand.
Yeah. And she said that it was whoever wrote this, she probably had told them they were stupid one too many times. And, they got really ticked off about it. I'm hoping you guys can see this. It says, "I'm not stupid, bitch. Jealous." Yeah, where'd it go? I just clicked on one and it went away. This one's not very visible. Well, here's the, they eventually did a phenotype DNA of the suspect, what he may look like. possible. But
I'm highly suspect of that. I don't.
I am too. I'm highly suspect of sketches, period. Actually myself, but that's just me.
But they did say that the DNA was Latino of some sort from some part of South America.
Yeah. I know, Marissa. I know. I just was saying what the note said. I know. Look at Gross. Everybody's like, I know her. And to be honest, I have before when I've gotten super, super, super mad, and I, it's not right, but I have. I mean, I'm just being honest. But actually, Eric Tacoy Jones. Am I skipping ahead of myself here?
Not really, because he's involved in it in the story, so you're not really skipping ahead.
He was Karina's boyfriend, and he had been verbally abusive to her and physically because he shoved her down, and then he broke into the apartment, and so she went and got the restraining order, and Faith had been the one to drive her there. Faith had been the one to tell her she probably should do this. Faith had, in his mind, been the one standing in the way of their relationship. And he had even been, it's on police record, that he had even said to multiple people that he would kill her, or even both of them. So, he was highly suspected of this crime or being involved.
He also lived in the same apartment complex as they did.
Yeah. And the neighbor said, the neighbor had even witnessed some things. And so he lived, after the restraining order, he didn't live upstairs anymore. But he did move in the same apartment. But just right, what was it? She said, I think 5 doors down or something.
Yeah, this is not a big complex like you would think of a big, huge apartment. This is not a huge apartment complex at all. Her apartment, her set of apartments, whatever you want to call them, there was just like 2 more on that road to the end of the road, and I mean all this was wooded behind here. I mean they didn't even have to drive a car to get away. They could have walked away from the scene. They didn't, especially if you lived there. I mean, nobody would have even seen them because it's all wooded in there. Even today, it's wooded.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Anybody have any questions so far about what you've seen so far, the videos, or let me see, go through the comments. I don't want to miss anything. Yes, Graz. It's really sad, actually. I mean, all of these are sad. There's not one that's not. It's hard to watch the parents, Her dad, he said he was struggling. The parents divorced. He had drug issues. And so he was struggling at the time Faith was born. And he said that she gave him a reason to live and do better.
That's why they named her Faith. And her sister is 18 years older than she is. There's a big, huge age gap between the siblings.
Yeah.
And, she, again, I mean, I know her being a Native American didn't have anything to do with this crime. I don't feel like it did at all. But here again, she's part of the statistics. 10 times more likely to be a victim of this type of crime, and here we are.
Right. I thought I saw a question from Ivy. I'm just going to say hey again to everyone and oh, okay. Yeah, Ivy, a very unique weapon. I watched another, I didn't link it here today. It was a really long YouTube, but it's a pretty good channel. They're new, but they've already got quite a few videos out there. But they did this case. They do a lot of other cases. They've done Delphi. Murder retrograde. As a matter of fact, I'm going to link this in here for you, Jack, just in case you have not watched it. They watch me not be able to find it. I did. Now I lost my train of thought of why I even brought them up. Doggone it. Watch her go on, please. I lost my train of thought.
Oh, okay.
It was about the bottle. It was about the bottle. Because the one girl thought it should have broke when they used it. And the other girl said, no, it's really super thick.
And she was a bartender. The girl who said that used to be a bartender.
Yeah. And so, and they are, if you've ever had, picked up one or, so I'm going to share
but
this.
It was very, very personal. That's a personal, because they said a lot of the injuries was directly to her face, not the back of her head, but directly to her face.
Right. Hey, band. Jack, I'm putting the link in here now, buddy, for that other channel. I thought they did a good job on this. It's a long one, though, but they really go, they're real thorough on it. So, and the rest of you might want to look at that channel, too, because like I said, they do other cases, and they've done what case that everybody likes to watch. But anyway, yeah, everybody said this was personal to them. But yeah, I did want to mention that channel tonight. So, Watcher, what do you got to say, hon? I feel like I'm taking over, and I don't want to. I want you to be part of this.
No, you're doing fine. Are you gonna say anything about the butt dial call, pocket dial call? No, yes, maybe so. We don't know.
Well, there was a butt dial voicemail call to one of her close friends. And of course it was really, she did that a lot. Her friend said, would, do the pocket dial calls, and her friend didn't think anything of it at that time when she heard it, because she said, this happened a lot. But then when she, found out she was no longer alive, she turned it in. And well, her dad listened to it before anybody else, looked at it in real detail. And he said he heard his baby's voice. Now, could he have heard it because he wanted to, for closure or whatever? Yes, but he really believed he heard it. And I feel like He really could have. So there's this investigator, forensic investigator, that specializes in cleaning up, those types of things, the phone calls. And so when he did this, he says he heard 2 female voices and 2 male voices. And one was a rapper in the background, and Eric Takoy Jones is a rapper. And the family listened to them. Jensen, Billy Jensen and Kelly McClear, they really sound like they put faith in this. And so they brought the family in to listen to it. And again, they feel like that's Faith's voice on there. Now, I don't know. I don't know because they turned it in over to Chapel Hill Police and the FBI, and the FBI analyzed it, and they said no. And they also said the timestamp is wrong. The timestamp was at 1:23, I think, and they would have been
Yes.
at the bar. It would not have been at the time of the murder. But there's conflict on that too. So
It's well known that Apple has or at least on Faith's phone and on Chavez's phone. That was her that was interviewed that received the phone call. She had that problem before, and it was documented that there was a 2-hour time delay in both their phones, which is weird. But that is a known problem that Apple had at that time. So if
yeah,
it was a 2-hour delay, then that would have put it at about 3:30, which would mean that Rosario, her roommate, would have still been in the apartment according to her own account. She would have still been there because she didn't leave till after 4 a.m. in the morning.
yes, which means the other female voice is possibly hers. And and in the links I provided, it does show all of that in there. So, I'm not going to speculate one way or the other, I guess. There goes my Lexi. I'm sorry, guys. It's not your smoke alarm. I'm not going to speculate one way or the other if it is or isn't, because I'm still thinking about it. I'm just going to say anything is possible. Because it is, right? But there's still, even though they've released things, like after July 14, they did unseal things. In interviews with, when you see people interviewing them, you can still see them either not wanting to answer things or going around it, like beating around the bush. So they're still being very tight about things, in my opinion. Now I'm going to ask Jack, what do you think, Jack? Do you have any of your own opinions on this case?
I want to know 2 things. I want to know, one, why was there not more sounds heard than what the downstairs neighbor supposedly said she heard? Couple thuds. Why was there not more sounds than that heard during that crime? Because it seems to me That would have been a very, very, very loud crime scene. Number two, if it is Eric Tacoy Jones and he did have something to do with it, then where his DNA didn't match the DNA they found at the crime scene. So, and given that he had lived there previously, you'd think his DNA would have been there anyway. So, who was the other person? Who was the other male involved there? And I mean, who does the DNA belong to? That's my question.
Um, yeah, you made a good point there. His DNA should have been somewhere in there. And but my thing on my opinion on that is just because his DNA wasn't on her doesn't mean he wasn't still involved. It could have been somebody else that, and also like they said on that channel I just brought up, that I linked in here, it was Karina's bed that she was sleeping in. So it would have had, and it was known that she had other relationships and partners. So it would show other DNA. This and even with Faith, she may have had other DNA in her from days prior. Doesn't mean it was necessarily from that night.
Well, and they also found, and I don't want to be gross, guys, cover your ears. There was a tampon found in the bed. So the question those two girls raised was, did they actually test that? Was that tested? Was that taken as evidence? Or was that dismissed like the phone call? Was that just, I asked a girl, so.
Right.
That's just not something normal you would find in somebody's bed. And like they said in the other interview, that could been as used as a tool to humiliate her.
Yeah. But we also have to remember, even if they do, I mean, a lot of people think you can convict on DNA alone. And it's just not that simple anymore.
Nope. Mm-mm.
I don't think. For the simple fact, one reason anyway, not the only, but there's been so many wrongful convictions because of DNA, tampered DNA. And I know a lot of people disagree with me, but we can just look at Stephen Avery, and his nephew. I believe they're innocent. But I mean, there's other people besides that. That's just the first one that popped in my head. But there's a lot of people that have been, set free when their DNA was, it was wrong or tampered with or whatever. And I'm sure there's a lot more sitting in prison right now.
I agree. And then there's apparently somebody walking free that's being excluded because of this DNA. Of course, we don't know what they know, but still.
Good. Jack hit. I think Jack hit the nail on the head. I think she was killed before Karina left. I agree, Jack. That's my opinion.
I agree. Yes, I do.
That's my opinion. I think everything I've watched, everything I've read, the 911 call didn't sound right to me. the neighbor said when she left the apartment, you wouldn't have known she had just left a murder scene.
Well, it's hard to say how you would act, but I imagined myself what I would do if I walked in and my best friend or husband or whoever was laying there, you know, dead, blood everywhere. I think I'd be screaming my lungs out. I mean, I know me, and I would just be going off. But not everybody's me, and I understand that. And she's a college kid, but that to me, that would make it more likely her being a college kid, 20 years old, that she would be in full panic mode, and she didn't seem to be in full panic mode to me. It seemed fake to me, but that's my opinion. But that's how I feel about it.
Yeah. Trying to just go all the way back here.
Does anybody else have any opinions on?
Just seeing.
I mean, it's been brought up. It could be in a complete stranger, but I don't feel that way. But it's possible. You know, somebody brought up in one of those interviews. You know, it could have been a groundskeeper, somebody that was working around the apartment and had been watching her and just waiting for that opportunity. You know, stalking her to an extent, watching that apartment. And it could have been even somebody that was watching Karina, was actually there for her, and she wasn't there, and they got the wrong girl, which is possible.
Yeah, that's possible. But Jack brings up a good point. I do not even know if Karina called 911. Voice sounds like you're right. That was a good point that was brought up in trace evidence. And that was the only one that mentioned that, because I did not even know that she was with Karina until that podcast. I thought Karina was there by herself. And until that podcast. And then that was like a twist. So yeah, we're not sure about that either, Jack. So that's a really good.
Yeah, it does sound like Marisol. I was listening to her talking. It does sound like her. It really does. But I've never heard Karina talk because she's never done an interview. So, and she left North Carolina. So nobody even knows where she is. So. I agree, Annie. I do think it's way too personal to be a stranger. I agree.
I do too, Annie. I do. And thank you for that about Jason, for letting us know that. I was going to say that. I think it was I don't think it was a stranger. I don't think it was random. I think it was very personal. And I mean, you know, I don't like assuming or you know, saying I think it's so and so, or I don't, or you know, I don't, because I have seen so many people's lives ruined over this. But it does just cloud around just a very, you know, just a, you know, just those very, very, very few people.
Well, and the cops interviewed her over 10 times. So there's something there that they're suspicious of, or that something is not right in her story, or they would not have interviewed her over 10 times. They've interviewed her more than they've interviewed Tacoy Jones, which I find strange.
Right. And yeah. And I mean, maybe, I think in that, that channel I linked here, that the one girl thinks it was a female that did it with the bottle. But, and maybe, I mean, I don't know, maybe she was thinking, man, maybe she was feeling pressure too, pressure from him, pressure from her, maybe at first it was okay, but then she wanted to be back with him. And, you know what I'm trying to say? Who knows? I mean, hopefully we will someday. I mean, I know the chief, he says it's not if, it's when, because we will solve this. And they do sound very genuine. They're not going to stop.
Well, and somebody was definitely jealous of her, in my opinion. Whether that, that note could be a red herring. Somebody else said that could be a total red herring. Yeah, it could be, but regardless, and it could have been, two girls playing around. But why was that not said? Why was it not said? Hey, we were passing those notes, the night before, kidding around or whatever. But that was never ever said. That's never been brought up. So apparently, the note has something to do with it in some way, shape, form, or fashion.
Okay, Tanya. Thanks for coming, sweetheart. And when we see you, honey, it really is good to see you. Have a wonderful night. We love you. Yeah. I was trying to decipher what jealous meant. If they were saying she was jealous or they are jealous. Or if it was, like they mentioned, a red herring.
Well, to me, it kind of come across as a question. Jealous? As if it was, are you jealous? But they just said jealous. If that makes sense.
Yeah. True. Oh, yes. That's right, guys. Jason is sick. So if you guys would keep him in your prayers, please. Annie says, I think the killer... Hold on, I'm not in StreamYard. I'm going to put the question up there. I think the killer was jealous, and it was the killer's boyfriend that thought her boyfriend and Faith were talking and flirting. Oh, never thought of that before. However, they said that he was, not very nice to her, pretty mean actually, and, threatening and so on. But after the murder, he was right up in the media, praising her, describing her as the exact opposite of what he really thought of her.
Well, he actually was there at the crime scene because he lived there. He was actually right there at the crime scene tape and made his presence known. So he injected himself into the investigation. And I have thought about what you said, Jack, about the soccer player, and I wondered if they had interviewed him or anything.
Well, am I mistaken? Tacoy never did, right? Well, no, they did swab him. I'm wrong. I guess I thought he didn't.
No, there was one guy that they suspected, and he refused his DNA, and whenever they showed up at his apartment where he lived to get his DNA, he was in his car and seen them and avoided them, but they never did say if they ever eventually got that DNA or not. They never did specify that. So I guess that's one of those things they're not saying.
Oh, goodness, Tanya. I'm so sorry. I hope he gets that worked out. I hope you guys get that worked out. Thank you, Tanya. Thank you so much for coming, honey. Go take care of that, honey. Annie says, I think he was mean because she didn't want to be with him. That could be a very good possibility. Jack says, I think Faith was jumped time they got home. I agree, Jack. I do too. I do too. Karina went with a soccer player. As far as we know, right? I mean, that's the story. What if they never left? Right? New Zealand Mysteries. I have to go. I enjoyed. Thank you so much, New Zealand, for coming. Thank you so much. And everybody check out New Zealand Mysteries. Great channel. AJ, how are you, sweetheart? Oh, no problem. Thank you for coming. So yeah, I think Jack's right about that. And yeah, she said she was leaving with the soccer player, but I don't think they really left. I mean, did the neighbor say she saw them or anything?
Well, they needed a lot of time for her. If there were 3 other people at that scene, they had to get rid of their clothes. I mean, they obviously didn't clean the scene, but they had to clean themselves somewhere.
I mean, they had to leave at some point, right, and come back. But I mean, like she said she left with the soccer player, but I'm saying when he got there, they may not have left at all. They may have, right? You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, I know what you're saying. Definitely. I mean, but he may have been involved in it. What if she walked in on Faith and somebody else? What if Tacoy Jones was actually, you know how, guys will pick on the girls they like? Maybe he really liked her because she was hard to get. She wasn't somebody that was giving in to him. You know what I mean? And maybe there was jealousy there. Maybe he actually wanted her or used her against Karina. Played them against each other, is what I'm trying to say. Who knows?
Yeah. Yeah, I know what you're saying. Yeah, because she was, yeah, I totally get what you're saying. Marisol picked her up at his place next morning. Yeah. I know. I think, I'm no expert, of course. I'm just gonna assume. I shouldn't. I think there's going to be a big twist here. I'm believing it's going to be solved. I hope it's soon, though, for the family, because it's sad. The parents, watching the parents and even the siblings, So I pray and hope it's solved soon. But I think we just might be shocked at how, when we find out how, and,
Well, one thing we didn't say was that he was arrested for dealing drugs before this happened. So, two things. Maybe also she could have known what he was doing and threatened to turn him in, or B, he could have used drugs to bribe someone to do that to her, and in effect paid them to do that with drugs. Or he could have called in the fact, hey, you owe me money, so you need to do this, or I'm calling my debt due for these drugs.
Right, because I don't think we mentioned yet that he was arrested for that beforehand. Or was it after?
It was before. And
My brain.
I looked up, I was trying to see if I could find any more arrest records on him, and the only thing I could find was failure to appear. That's the only other, but I don't know how accessible that is. He could have changed his name, far as we know, so I would if it was me.
Yeah. And see, she was doing all of what she was doing so she could come back to her community and give back and help. And that's what she was doing. She was such a beautiful girl.
Well, and everybody talked about how beautiful she was and how she attracted people. People just were naturally gravitated toward her. And I think that was part of the jealousy myself.
Oh, AJ, I'm sorry. It's Watcher. It's Watcher. I don't know why her name's not showing up. It's showing down here. It's not showing up there. That's weird. I just noticed that. I'm sorry, AJ. Yeah, they said that she just, and her smile, she smiled all the time, they said. So it's really sad. But hopefully, like I said, we pray for justice. Oh, yeah, Jack, good point. So then that brings me back to the note. Maybe that person was jealous. That makes more sense. You're welcome, AJ. No thanks needed. I do too, Marissa. I really hope they do. That's right, Watcher. No more. So, does anybody have any more questions or comments before we say goodbye? I know you came in late, AJ. I'm so sorry, but I'm glad you came. I've missed you guys. I've been super busy. My life is really busy. I've been trying to spend time with, I don't want to say my real life friends, because you guys are my real life friends too. I don't consider you guys internet friends, because I love you guys. But I have, in my own opinion, neglected people out here. And nobody's really told me that. I've just realized it. And while I'm at it, if I could ask you guys to lift up a couple of my friends. They're just going through a rough time. I'm not going to name names or anything, but, well, one you don't even know, but one you do. She used to come in all the time, and she still does once in a while when she doesn't have to go to bed early, but so, I mean, I've just been busy. I know I need to get back regularly on here, but I need to do that too. So I just need to figure out how to juggle. Don't forget Incog. I can't remember if she's on Friday or Saturday. She's got a awesome guest coming. Don't forget Band Sunday night. You're going to love that one. Incog's going to be on there and some others. So now let me see, because I asked you guys if you had anything, and then I started jibber jabbering. Jack, you're so welcome. And thank you for bringing it up, because this case needs talked about. And I mean, I hope we did a good job for you, but I really hope, yeah, like Crime says, I hope her family gets justice, and I hope it comes soon. And, you know, I need to start doing updates, you know, on cases. So thank you, Ivy. Thanks, Graz. And again, man, oh man, I am still praising the Lord for yesterday, for that chat. Yeah, it is hard to find a balance sometimes, Ivy. Thanks, Annie. You're such a sweetheart. Awesome, Jack. Yes. And then we can do an update. Oh, goodness. Tanya, I'm so sorry. Oh, AJ, absolutely. 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 On my list, sweetheart. So AJ needs prayers for her son, guys. And that's, I hate that, AJ, that when we have our loved ones in the hospital and we can't visit. I hate that. Okay, Junie, thank you, honey, for coming. I love you to pieces. Thank you, Annie. Oh, that would be awesome, Watcher. And in so many cases, I mean, it would be awesome. So like I said, I'm going to try to do this one case. I'd love if I could do it Tuesday. I've got to get in contact with some people. It's a requested case. Somebody asked me to look into it. It so very much needs to be discussed, talked about. Needs eyes on it, needs attention. It's heartbreaking. There's been none. I would like to do it Tuesday. I don't know if I can. And then there was another one brought to my attention tonight that it's been solved, but I never knew about it. But I would still like to discuss it. But anyways, I'm going to see you guys next week, and I'm going to try for Tuesday, but I will be here next week. So just be watching for me, okay? And I want to, again, thank you all for being here. I love you guys. You're amazing. God bless.
Thanks,
Do you
guys.
want to say? Yes, Watcher, you want to say goodnight?
Night, y'all.
And I want to thank you, Watcher. I want to thank you for coming on. I appreciate you so much. And you know I love you, girl.
I love you too.
Okay, guys, you all have a good night. And yeah, a great Friday and weekend. And I may see you around. Well, I definitely will on NCOGs and bands. All right. And maybe Nick's and maybe, who knows? I mean, one more thing, guys. If you don't see me that much on the weekends, my hubs is off and that's my family time. So that's why. But anyways, have a great night. God bless. Thanks, band. Good night, guys. Bye, Watcher. Love ya.
Love you.